You are now listening to Ride With Me, the Flat Tire Podcast.
Welcome to Ride With Me, episode 83. Today is September 17, 2022. Today I am going to talk about a good friend of mine who sadly passed away a week ago. He was on episode 38, my mentor, Frank Allen. I've known Frank since I was in junior high. I can't really think back the year. I don't know, 96 maybe. 96, 97. I met him when we were staying at a hotel. It's no secret we moved around a lot, and half my childhood I lived in hotels. And at one particular hotel, we met Frank, and he was one of the neighbors, and he wasn't I don't remember how it was that we started talking to him, but I just remember that one day he saw me struggling in the car trying to fix a car stereo, trying to replace a car stereo. And Frank approached me. He's like, "What are you doing, kid?" And I'm like, "I'm just trying to fix the stereo and trying to make it work." And he came around the passenger side, sat in the car, and started telling me exactly what every little cable did. And because when you're changing the car stereo from the older cars, they don't make the cables, 2 reds, 2 blues, 2 greens, 2 purples, 2 whatever the case would be. No, one's purple with green stripes, one's white with red stripes, one's pink with blue stripes, and one. So he showed me how to identify each cable to its speaker and each cable to its power source. And because of that day, every time a car stereo opportunity came up to install it, hey, I can do it. Like, you're just a kid, but I can do it. And I was able to install car stereos because of him. The same thing. And then from there on forward, he was part of the family now. It's like every time we had gatherings or whatever, he was always there. But it wasn't up until I hit my maybe teens let me take that back. Probably, my adulthood, when he was there more for me. Because there was a couple years that we didn't know where he was, where he went. Like I said, we moved out of the hotel, go back to an apartment, and we don't know. I guess we didn't keep in touch with Frank. And then I think a few years later, we bumped into him. I think we happened to be neighbors again somehow, or he drove by the street and he recognized us and he stopped. And from there on out, he was part of the family. Like, he was part of the family. He was always around. And I think that's when he was single. I think him and his wife broke up, and now he was single, so he was roaming the streets, kind of. And he was always coming over, and every time there was something to be done in the car, he would help us. He would help us work on the car. He fixed the car, whatever the problem is. I remember one time he came over, and my mom told him, "Hey, the car's making a weird noise." So Frank's like, "All right, Andy, get in the driver's seat and start that sumbitch up." I started it up. Frank put his ear to the engine. Like, I'm not gonna say up close, but he just focused on the noise. And he said, "Boop, I know where it is. Turn off the car." Turned off the car, and he fixed whatever the problem was. The car was running again. It was, I think my mom had like one of those 86 Citations, those little cars. That little car took us everywhere for a while. He and then not only was he good at listening to what the problem was in the car, he was also good at like, he would touch the bolt and he'd be like, "Oh, I need a 10 millimeter. Oh, it's a 13 millimeter. Oh, it's a 7 by 16." I don't know how to count. call him out. But he was really good at just feeling the bolt, and he knew exactly what size he needed. He was really good at fixing cars. He was a wizard, man. I remember when I was like 19 years old, I ended up buying my first car to learn how to drive in was a Ford Escort. And the Ford Escort, I don't know, there was a problem with the heads. And I went and bought a secondary Ford Escort. We were going to use one for parts and the other one for, obviously to use it. And so we parked the car in the garage. We were living in an apartment now, and we parked the car in the garage, and he had me physically take the car apart. He walked me through on how to take everything apart until I was able to get to the heads of the car, the pistons, whatever you call them. And one day I was waiting for him to come back. I was getting impatient. I wanted to get the car going. I don't know why he was out and about. He was taking his time. I got impatient. His tools were there, and I was able to put the car back together based on him showing me how to take it apart. I was able to put it back together. And so he finally gets there, I think the next day. I'm like, the car's done, dude. He goes, what? No way. Yeah, the car's done. So then he went and we went in the car. He started it. He goes, well, it starts. That's a good thing. But do you hear that sound? I'm like, yeah. He goes, you didn't torque the heads down right. So guess what? We got to take that bitch apart. I'm like, what? So there he goes, since you were impatient, start taking it apart. So I had to take what I had just built back apart. He was good at that. He was good at teaching. He was that good at teaching you how to work on cars that I was able to put it together and take it apart again by myself, no help. So that was those were. I never did that again. Oh no! Next time, okay, Frank, I'll wait. Don't worry. And so he was good at that. He was good at handyman. He knew how to work in the house. He knew how to fix things. I know how to fix certain things around the house because of him. My wife's like, why do you act like you don't know how to do anything? I'm like, well, because I don't want to do it. That's the difference. I don't want to do it. Can I do it? Yes. Can I put that ceiling fan on? Yes, but I don't want to do it. Can I, can I do this? Yes. Can I paint the kitchen the color that you want it? Yes, I can, but I don't want to. There's the difference. I don't know. There's just like, I remember one day one of the doors fell off the hinge and the hole in the wall was too big. So he went and he bought these little pegs at Home Depot, and he put them in. He put them in the hole and then put the screw right back in. So the door was again 100%, wasn't hanging off the hinge anymore. So one day that happened here at the house, and I was like, shit. Well, I'm not going to go to Home Depot, but I have a shitload of toothpicks. So I shoved the little hole with toothpicks and crammed them in there. Put the door back up, and Frank, the door's up. He goes, yeah, but you know that during time it's going to... Oh, man. Okay, what you're saying is I should have gone to Home Depot to get the little pegs. He goes, yes. I'm like, shit. Okay, next time. But yeah, no, there is a lot of shit that I know how to do around the house. I just choose not to. I have my personal reasons why. But yeah, man, Frank taught me a lot of things. Painting, man. For some reason he would lie to me, man. Because there was a time where I myself was homeless, and the only reason why I ever had money, the only reason I was able to survive was because of Frank. Because he would always get little side jobs, and he would always ask if it depended on if it needed a 2-man job. He would ask me, hey, you want to come make some money? I'm like, yeah, sure, let's go. And they got to the point where he wouldn't tell me what the job was because he knew I hated painting. And one day he hit me up, hey man, I got this job, man, this one house, and you want to come help me out? I'm like, well, fuck yeah, dude, I could use some cash. Went over, got into the house. Okay, what are we doing, man? And he had all the freaking painting supplies slapping right. They were just right there in the center of the bedroom. I'm like, "You SOB, dude, really? We're gonna have to paint?" He goes, "Do you want money or not?" I'm like, "Yeah." So I would get more paint on my clothes than on the freaking wall. I hated painting. I don't have the patience for it. It takes too long. But yeah, Frank can paint, man. And Frank also, like, Frank would find a way. Like I said, there were the time we were both just down on our luck, and he would go into the store. He would go to the liquor store and he start looking at the lotto tickets, and he'd be like, "Man, I want to eat good today." I'm like, "Shit, what do you have in mind?" I'm like, "I was thinking at this one spot and blah blah." Okay, but he goes, "Neither one of us have enough." He's like, "Hold on." So he'll go to the liquor store and he'll be like, "Hey, which scratcher is hot? Which one is the one that customers are buying the most?" And he's like, "Well, this one." He goes, "What are the odds on that one?" "Oh, you can win 1 out of 10. And this one you can win 1 out of 3. This one you can win 1 out of 5." And depending on the ticket, right? So he would say, okay, he would give the guy $20. Give me 3 of these. And fucking, he would hit, man. He would hit. So his $20 just became 100, 150, because he knew the odds of winning on each ticket. So if you win 1 out of 3, then he would buy all 3. Sometimes the first one would hit because maybe 2 customers before him bought the tickets. And then, or sometimes the third one hit, or 1 out of 5. Sometimes the first one would hit, or the 5th one. So he kind of knew the strategy. He knew his strategy. He knew the odds. And we would go eat. And also freaking, when there was nothing to do in the evening, you want to go catch a movie? Yeah, dude. We watched The Hangover when The Hangover first came out in movie theaters. Oh my god, we walked out of that movie theater cracking up, dude. It was freaking hilarious. What else? Frank loved camping. Obviously, he was semi-homeless, so he loved going camping. I have plenty of camping equipment because of him. We would just one day, just during the week too, we would just go during the week. We would take our drive to Lake Casitas and then just camp. Yeah, shit, we had nothing else planned for the day. He loved camping. He loved working on cars. He loved just, even though Frank was going through his I mean, his sister recently told me that Frank was still fighting his demons, and I see it. I see it, Frank. I saw it. I mean, Frank did drink a lot. There's a certain time that he would just drink heavily, and it was always just freaking his champagnes of beer, freaking a Miller High Life 32 ounces and shit. But Frank would not drive drunk. He would. I think one time he did get in trouble, and then so ever since then he would never do it. He would never drive. He would always ask, like, if we had somewhere to live, if we were living somewhere and there was a driveway, he would ask, "Hey, can I come just hang out in the driveway and so I can have my beer?" And he'll sleep in the driveway. He'll sleep in his car, because depending on where we lived at, if we had no space in the house, like at one time we lived in a small little trailer, and there was like a 1-bedroom trailer. The bedroom was probably as big as a bathroom. So most of us kids just slept in the living room floor. So there was really no room for Frank to sleep with us in the house, in the trailer. So he wouldn't mind sleeping in his car. But he would, "Hey man, is it okay?" "Yeah, dude, go ahead." Parked in the driveway, and he would drink his beer and then go to sleep. He used to have a fucking little, I don't know what year it was. I know it was a really old Volvo, a little light blue Volvo. He loved that thing. And that's the car he took me to the DMV to get my driver's license. And he was like, "You passed because it was a Volvo." Because I think the instructor was saying that the Volvos are very very safe cars. And so yeah, he loved. I don't know what happened to that thing. Like I said, he moved to Virginia. So the last time I saw Frank was in, maybe I'm gonna say October, November of 2017. because he came over to the house where we live at now, and he came to help us demolish to demolish a hallway, and put because this house has 3 bedrooms, but it's different in California. You can't have a room leading to another room. Each room needs to have its own separate doors, hallway, whatever. So he came over to help us demolish the two closets that are now a hallway, and then he installed a tile in the bathroom. So he came and did some stuff here before he took off to Virginia, and that was the last time I saw him. But he would always call, or I would always call him and check on him, and some of his last calls were always, remember, you're my son. You're my son. Did you hear me? You hear me what I called you? I called you my son. I'm like, yes, Frank. I love you too, man. And he, like I said, even though he was going through his shit, he was always so caring for everybody. And before he left, back in the day when I was struggling with, depression and shit, he was there for me. And I spent Easter with his entire family. My kids spent Easter with the entire family. One of his sisters just hit me up recently. He goes, "Hey, I'm Frank's youngest sister. Do you remember me?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I actually do. You were at that Easter. We always call it the Easter event because everyone was there. I think that was the first time where his entire family was there." And she said her son was only like 2 years old, and he always made sure that he was always there helping others. He always helped. He always made sure you had a good time. He like no matter what demons he himself was fighting, he never showed you a bad time. Oh fuck, Frank loved to fucking play pool. Again, whenever we have every extra bucks here and there, we would go to the pool hall in on 8th Street, and I think it's 7th right there in Oxnard, and just spent hours playing pool. Whatever helped him kill time. And but yeah, man, you would never assume that Frank had any kind of problems, because he was always in a good mood. And the only time I ever saw him really depressed was when he had a little too much to drink, and he started, I'm assuming flashbacks of his childhood, because there was this one song that always made him cry. And I'm not gonna play it. I'm probably just gonna play the audio in the background in a bit. But he always made it always made him cry. And I was talking to Officer Ricky yesterday. I'm like, dude, listen to the song "I Started a Joke" by the Bee Gees. I'm like, shit, do you even know who the Bee Gees are? He's like, yeah, I do. Okay, cool. Check out the song "I Started a Joke." When Frank had a little too much to drink and this song came on, he would just start crying. And so I didn't know a lot of his background, like childhood, but I heard it wasn't a nice one. But Frank never really showed it. He like I said, man, he always made sure you had a good time. The 4th of July, too. 4th of July, he would make, my boys said it the other day, remember the time he showed us how to make a bomb? Like, shit, you don't say that, kid. It wasn't a bomb. They were little, so. Remember that time Frank showed us how to make a bomb? Dude, it wasn't a bomb. You can't say that. Frank would make fireworks. He'll make his own fireworks. And the last few years that he lived out here, he actually got his, I think it's called a pyrotechnic license. So I believe 2 or 3 shows at Ventura College, fireworks shows, Frank was the one in charge of those fireworks shows. And yeah, he went in. Frank, I mean, dude, you love fireworks so much. Why don't you fucking get it? And he did. He was a pyrotechnician. I'm like, oh shit, muy chingon. Yeah, he loved making fire. I think one day he made a firework a little too strong and it blew out one of our windows. But yeah, when we moved into an apartment one day, we opened the garage. It was a 2-car garage. We opened the garage and we found an old gunpowder tin in the garage. He goes, holy shit. We poured it all in the middle of the garage, and we set it on fire. Oh my god, freaking smoke whiter than white coming out of the garage. It was funny and holy shit at the same time. But yeah, man, it's just at 5 in the morning and not writing anything down. So I know I have way more memories of Frank, but yeah, camping, mechanics. He was the dad. He was there for me as a dad. The dad I never had. When sadly I got arrested, Frank was there. Frank went to go visit me. Frank took my brother Alex one time. Frank took my daughter with him one time to come visit me. Frank, even though it was only 5 months, but he would come and visit every chance he got, and it wasn't a down the street trip. He was staying in Oxnard. He would drive all the way to Santa Paula, and yeah, he would come visit me, man. That's when I was in the hospital because my freaking what's it called, that crap that we don't even know what we have it for, appendix. When that shit burst, he was there at the hospital. See, how they say that your friends and family, or your true friends, come out when you're in the hospital or jail. That was Frank. Frank was there every time. Let me see what else I got. This one time I was helping him. He worked with this guy named, I think his name was Jack. This Jack had owned a storage unit in Oxnard, right there, kind of where all the truckers are at, where like the part of Oxnard where it's like nothing but truckers and warehouses, and I think they have this one little restaurant at the corner, a little red one. My brother Danny likes to go there because it reminds him of our grandpa. When our grandpa came into town, that's where he would go eat every time. And so he went to go, and Jack asked Frank if we can replace all the storage the doors, so they all look like garage doors. And he asked him if he can switch them into rolling doors. And so Jack told Frank, you're gonna need someone else, man. She goes, I got someone in mind. Frank had these little flashcards that look like time cards, and he made one for me. He goes, you're gonna need a time card. I'm like, what? He goes, yeah, Jack's like that. He makes sure that he clocks you in the moment you walk in, and he clocks you out the moment you walk out. I'm like, oh shit, okay, cool. So legit business then, huh? And yeah, we did I think 3 doors in one day. That shit was a pain in the ass. That pin, and you had to crank up the winder thingy. It was pain in the ass, but we can kill a whole day, man, just doing just other shit for other people and get paid for it. So Frank made sure that in the time that I didn't work for 2.5 years, Frank made sure that I did not go hungry. I also learned how to lay cement because of Frank. Not that I'm gonna do it now. Don't tell the wife, because she wants cement by the side of the house. We went to his friend's house. Rest in peace. Also, his friend. This guy was, I can't. Damn, it's gonna bother me because I can't think. Jim. The man's Jim. I believe Jim was a Vietnam veteran, and Jim was what Frank was to me, to Frank. So Frank had this man who was older than Frank, and he was like his dad figure, and then Frank was Frank to me was like my dad figure. And Jim was a funny dude, man. The only thing is he did smoke a lot, and he reminded me of fucking like a Chuck Norris, an older Chuck Norris, the same kind of beard and everything. It is you would have to see it. But Jim one day had us go lay cement on his driveway, so there we are digging holes and everything, whatever. And Jim's like, you're only gonna get paid with lunch, bro. I'm like, oh, what the fuck, Jim? Funny guy, dude. He was a funny guy. He also passed away a few years ago. Actually, Frank called me and told me, hey man, Jim passed away. But Jim's death was, I'm not gonna say expected, but Jim was older man. So Jim died of old age. Frank tragically passed away due to a car accident. But yeah, man, Frank makes sure that let's just say everyone deserves to have a Frank. Everyone should have a Frank in their life. There we go. Everyone should have a Frank in their life, because he just man, it's just hard to, I don't know, man. It's just he He was there for you, man. He was there for you regardless of his own struggles. So every time someone close to me passes away, I text my buddy Roger, and I tell him, hey man, I love you, bro, and because I've known Roger for a long time, and lately he's been. I told my wife jokingly, if you hear Roger, you hear this, I'm just joking, bro. I tell my wife, hey, I think Roger's trying to break up with me again, or he hit his midlife crisis. And she's like, what's going on? I'm like, he just wants to, spend time together and to go do stuff. But I don't like to do anything. I go to work Monday through Friday. I just want to stay home. I don't want to do anything. I don't even like going to the family gatherings that they have. I don't like to do anything, but I just do it because I don't want to fight with the wife. And that's what she said too. You don't even like to do anything with me. Like, we don't even go anywhere. And like, I don't want to. Right now, look, it's 5 a.m. and I have a dentist appointment today at 10 o'clock. So I feel like the dentist appointment right smack in the middle of the morning, it ruins the rest of the day. So I'm going to go and hang out at 11, 12 o'clock with freaking half my face numb. Nah. But that's not the point. The point is that I really don't like to do much. I just like to stay home. Being homeless 2.5 years. Not having a job for 2.5 years and being homeless for a year of that, or growing up where your mom never ever kept you home because we were always somewhere. One day we drove to fucking Universal Studios for the city walk for nothing, just to write back. That's the kind of person that she was, and I fucking hated it. And I just like to be home. Now I'm an adult, and I can choose what I want to do, and if I just want to stay home, I'll stay home. Now, if there's something to do on a Saturday, okay, well, let's go knock it out and call it a day. But Sunday, leave me alone, and that's even before football. So, anyways, the point of the Roger conversation, it was that Roger was like, it's not about fishing, man. Because he talked to me about Frank, and he's like, I knew Frank. Frank was a good dude. Every time I was in town, every time I went to go visit you in Oxnard, let me call Frank. And every time we went to go have dinner or whatever, hey, let me call Frank. And it's like, Frank's like, Frank's was your dad. So I get it. You always called him. But you know what you have with Frank that we don't have yet, or we're not making, are memories. We're not making, it's not about fishing, dude. He told me it's not about fishing. It's not about, because we were going to go fishing last Saturday, but this damn Hurricane K, got it canceled because the wind was too bad and the waves, and so they didn't want to chance it, so they canceled the trip. But Roger is telling me, like, it's not about, man, it's not about fishing, dude. It's not. He told his girlfriend or his wife, you know what, man, I want to just, because 2022, no joke, once 2022 hit, Roger would call me 3 times a week, every time about 7:30. He said on his drive to work, he's like, it's our venting sessions. And he did it up until like 2-3 weeks ago, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? He's not calling me. So I called him, and he said, sorry, I only did it once so far. He said, nah, man, I told my girl that I'm just gonna leave you alone because you don't really like to do anything. I'm like, no, man, it's just it's not that I don't want to hang out. I just don't like to do it. We didn't go fishing, but we went to the golfing range to go shoot at freaking balls. That's not something I like to do, but I did it. I didn't want to spend there 2 hours swinging at golf balls, but I did it. And he's like, well, we should have gone fishing instead. But I didn't have my fishing license, and I didn't want to go get it last minute. So he's like, I get it, but again, it's not about fishing, man. It's not about catching anything. Because I told him I want to go to catch. I don't want to take my boys fishing and just sit there for 5 hours. They don't have the patience like we do to sit there for 5 hours and catch nothing. We used to do that. Roger and I used to go to the pier, the Ventura Pier, and we would be there from 8 o'clock at night till 5 in the morning. One day we caught a shark, little baby shark. We gave it to some guy. He cooked it and fried it and ate it there and then. But we used to do that. We used to go fishing for hours and not catch a thing. But I don't know. I think the beach is farther from me now. It's like 45 minutes away instead of being 10 minutes away. And But again, he told me, it's not about catching anything, dude. It's just about memories. He goes, you have those memories with Frank that sadly right now they won't come to mind. A lot of them won't come to mind. But he's right. He's 100% right. So I called him yesterday, and I called him back yesterday. I'm like, hey, dude, I'm going to have the Canelo fight. You're more than welcome to come by. And then I told him next weekend, the boys aren't going to be here. If you and your girl like to eat sushi, the wife and I are inviting you to go have sushi. So he has not confirmed either event, but we'll find out today if he shows up to my house. But he's right. It's not about the event that we're planning. It's about the memories. So I guess my teaching moment for this one came from Roger, and just make memories. Like I always tell everybody that's a new dad or a new mom, take a lot of pictures. So I know I have some of Frank. I'm gonna start digging through them right now while I'm editing this podcast. But yeah, memories, guys. Make memories, because it's not about, like he told me, Roger told me also, it's not about, he's gone, and we shouldn't cry. I mean, he's right. We shouldn't be crying. We should actually be celebrating that we had him in our lives. So I don't know. I don't got much to say anymore. I didn't have a planned podcast, but I have the equipment, so let's get it done, right? Frank, my friend, my dad, you are going to be missed dearly. And I'm gonna start crying now. Shinga, I was good for 30 minutes. I'm going to miss your random phone calls. And I'll never forget how you ended every phone call with, "You're my son. I love you, my son." Frank, I love you too, Pops. I'll see you soon, buddy.
Thank you for listening to Ride With Me, the Flat Tire Indie Podcast. You can also listen to us on iTunes, Spotify, and Podbean.